Hey, what's up, y'all? My name's KADAR. I'm a painter in Brooklyn. I'm going to go ahead and give you a little tour of my studio. Let me pause this and we'll get started. So, going to get going, coming on in. First off, just going to say I'm super lucky. I live up the block from my apartment, share with my wonderful partner, Jackie, and thankfully I'm able to come down the street and get in my studio and both get some work done and stay sane during the midst of all this COVID-19 stuff, and also give her some space so we don't, get on each other's nerves too much. So just feeling lucky and thankful about that, and hope everybody else out there is staying safe and sane as well. So to get into the studio stuff, my studio is basically broken down into kind of 3 different work areas. I got my painting area, which is where I do the painting part of things. I got my scraping and sanding area, which is where I do some scraping and sanding. Then I got my spray booth over there, which you can kind of make out behind that plastic. So I'm just going to walk everybody through these different segments of my practice and the way I make my work, and hopefully you all find it informative. So yeah, all my paintings start out in kind of a more conventional, oil paint on canvas kind of manner. These 2 works, one's an abstraction and one's kind of based on a landscape, layering it over more of a cartoony image that I took from some research I've been doing into this New Age church. And I go ahead and layer these things up and then scrape them down. Oftentimes I'll layer in some kind of primer and sand it down as well. But other times also just paint and scrape and paint and scrape. And with these 2 paintings, you can kind of see the difference in the 2 kind of aesthetic results of those variations in process. So the one on the left is just a couple scraped images of various landscapes from a trip I did out to Utah, researching this New Age church and kind of finding the birthplace of its founder. And the one on the right is also actually content, underpainting content dealing with that same subject matter, but then also scraped and sanded and kind of abused in different ways. So you get all these different textures, and also, just in case anybody was wondering, all these little black spots are actually holes. Not everybody understands that from the digital. It's hard to make that out, the telepresence. There's my little couch. Usually our doggos hang out over there. A couple stacks of paintings. Usually those are done paintings. These are paintings that are in process, drying, waiting to be scraped and beat up. Take you over this little segment over here. This little side project I got going on where I collect pill bottles from friends and family and then put different objects in them. This is kind of like my take on holistic medicine, I guess. Different things that I find hiking and traveling, and also that I collect from my various ritualistic processes that I apply to my paintings. And these are our plants. Gotta have plants. Keep there nice and clean. Wonderful anime pillow. And this is the table over here where I do a lot of the scraping and sanding of these paintings. Spend the majority of my time in the studio here, dancing between here and there, painting, scraping. Another finished work. I do all the scraping of the paintings with just this little razor blade here. Just sitting here like a compulsive ant, scraping and eating away at these paintings. Brushes. Collect all this different material. Sometimes I make them into painting objects. Right now it just sits in this bin here. So this is just, a couple years worth of paintings, probably two years worth of paintings, something like that, just hanging out in a bin. Painting chips, painting chunks that have been taken off the surface of all these other works. I'll do something with eventually. I collect a lot of stuff from doing this. There's another painting that I just picked up, and there's a couple little ones that I've been working on. Different ways of layering things, different ways of approaching putting gestures into the work in non-traditional kind of techniques. Just a little surface scoops here. And then, this is my Dexter room. This is where I do all the kind of priming, heavy-duty stuff. This is the piece that's drying right now. Just primed that yesterday, so that'll get primed up again and then sanded down at some point in the near future. And these are just stacks of more paintings that just waiting to dry, waiting to scrape, waiting to take apart. And then there's this crappy self-portrait that I did that is compositionally based on Edward Monk's self-portrait with the Spanish influenza, which, as you can imagine, seems incredibly apropos to our given moment. Thankfully, I have not, come down with COVID, so it's not as apt or as connected to Monk's Spanish flu self-portrait. But yeah, I couldn't resist making something based on that and my lifelong love affair with Monk. So yeah, that's my studio. These are different stages of the ways I build up these paintings, and this is everything that I got cooking right now, everything that I've been working on, and everything that I'm doing to scrape on by during all this stuff. So thanks for stopping by.